All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Today is Tuesday, December 23rd, and 2 days before Christmas, and day 12 in the whole ordeal resulting from the ice storm of December 12th. Brings a whole new meaning to the 12 days before Christmas, even though it has been very strenuous on the citizens of Fitchburg and really the North Central Mass region. I have to say that what is coming to the surface for me is how well the community has come together. If there's any time to define what it means to be a community, to define what we should be thankful during this holiday season, I think I've seen people get that message and really come together and help each other out. And I'm so proud of what the citizens of Fitchburg have done. I'm also very proud of the work that the National Guard has done over the last 2 days. They had a very good send-off a few hours ago, and I know that they were able to reach thousands of homes across the city. I know they talked to a number of people out there, and their report was this, that people were safe, people were doing okay, and you know, some people were still without power, but if there was any assistance that we could have provided, they did it right there. So we were very happy to see the National Guard canvass the city, just make sure that everybody was okay, making sure that nobody fell through the cracks. So I want to send a big thank you out for them and to MEMA, the Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency, who helped to arrange that service to the city. There are trucks everywhere. I think that I've just took a drive around the city and just seen a number of them working on not only the major circuits but also individual circuits. I'm seeing homes being reconnected from the pole to their house, and a lot of joyous people. And I know that not everybody has power, and not everybody may have power tonight, but my hope is that everybody will have everything up and running by Christmas. This is a Christmas present that we all are very much in need of, especially given the trying times. Our IT guy, who has been working very hard collecting the data, he's been in constant contact with Unitil, trying to get any bit of information that he can to update the maps that we've been posting at the Senior Center, and to help us do our emergency operations downstairs, and also putting it on the website. It's just been a fantastic way to get just a large amount, a variable amount of information out to the public. He just got his service back momentarily ago, just before this. So we've had this IT department who's been working hard all week, just grabbing this information so you know what's going on. And I'm happy to report that he has got electricity back. Our Emergency Operations Center is coming to a close tonight. That doesn't mean that the work won't continue. Our Department of Public Works, our City Hall operations, our emergency personnel, fire and police, they're going to continue to work hard for you. We, of course, ask people to call 911 if there's an emergency, but you can certainly call the non-emergency lines at all those different departments if you have any services that you require. We've done a tremendous job in the last 12 days, and I know that our emergency personnel, our DPW personnel, will continue to do a good job throughout this season. I'm pretty sure that we're going to have more snowstorms. We may have one coming up, and we're ready to go in terms of making sure that the streets are plowed and sanded. And if there are areas in which, and we've had some reports of if there are areas that haven't been plowed, you can check in with the DPW dispatch. Maybe they just haven't gotten there yet. Or if it needs additional sanding, or there's an issue that comes up, you can call their number at 978-345-9614. I'm also happy to report that all the residents at our Red Cross shelter that has been set up at the Fitchburg Senior Center have found alternative housing. That has just become an invaluable resource for the city. We all know how wonderful the Senior Center has been. It's just been a community center. We've all been to fundraisers there. We've all been to numerous spaghetti suppers. We've all heard wonderful singers and performances there. And now it has proven itself as just critical in emergency situations, as a place where we can help save lives, make sure that people are warm and safe. So that is coming to a close. Tonight will be the last night. I want to thank the Red Cross for all their support and the number of volunteers. We're going to have a much more extensive list at tomorrow's press conference, just making sure that, and we may even forget people. We'll be thanking people for a long time. I think people will be talking about the ice storm of 2008 for a very long time, and we hope that this doesn't happen again anytime soon. Sally Tata, Lieutenant Sally Tata from the fire department. Before I introduce our other special guests, there is going to be a freeze. It's cold out there right now, but it looks like there's going to be some warm weather coming our way. And with warm weather after a freeze comes some challenges and some issues. So she's here to make a public service announcement just to give people some tips on what to do. Lieutenant Tata?
Good afternoon. I'd just like to advise any building owners that have sprinkler systems, if they've had power loss and no heat for any extended period of time, that they should make sure that their sprinkler contractors are out checking their systems. If the system has been compromised, what they need to do is have the system temporarily shut off. They're going to have to obtain a permit from the fire department issued by the chief. We will not charge for the permit. We'd just like to maintain a list of whose sprinkler systems are down and ensure that they're put back up in a timely fashion. Thank you.
Thank you. And we did get somebody calling in today who wanted to know. He is an individual who said that he's been going around the city shoveling out hydrants, and he wanted to know if that's okay. I'm here to say unequivocally that that is more than okay. That is fantastic. We need help. Our emergency personnel, as you can imagine, have been working. If there's a word for more than overtime, they've been working more than overtime. And one of the things we are asking people to do is to help find those hydrants. We've had a lot of snow. They are buried around there somewhere, so people can go out. I know we've done a lot of shoveling, but if we could help shovel out those hydrants around the city, that would be great. And before I turn it over to our other guests, too, I just wanted to mention that Chief Kevin Roy, who is here with us, has just been fantastic. He has welcomed us into his home, the fire station, all of us, including the media, and really helped ensure that we have a wonderful place to all come together, to put our heads together, to make sure that we can get through this emergency. And I've just seen the wonderful work of the firefighters firsthand. Just hearing all the different calls, just the overwhelming number of calls that are coming in here, all the different types of emergencies that our firefighters and emergency personnel are responding to. And they're doing a fantastic job. And I had the pleasure actually about a month ago to actually spend some time at the police station. I can tell you that they're doing a wonderful job as well. And that was in a non-emergency setting. So you can imagine our city workers are working incredibly hard. One such person that's been working hard from the beginning is our state representative, Steve DiNatale. I can't tell you how grateful I am that he has made himself a constant presence in this emergency situation. It's a holiday season. He has a number of other duties, but he has gone above and beyond and really helped to do the things that we just didn't have time to do. Help make sure that what we were doing here and our message that we needed help, that we needed resources, was getting out to the people on the state level. So I want to thank him for being here, and I would like him to say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor. I know Senior Vice President Gantz is going to talk a little bit about what's going on with Unitil. We're still getting a number of calls for individual service, and I know that the company is well aware of that. But these people have been without power for the entire 12 days. And I've had some people on the phone today that are literally in tears. My aide and I have been feeling those calls. We're hoping that we can get some relief to those folks tonight. And that's what we're calling upon you, George, to help us with that. I just want to assure everyone in the city of Fitchburg that the wheels will start turning slowly. My office has been in contact with the Department of Public Utilities, Attorney General's office, the Governor's office as well. We're going to start compiling information. Senator Flanagan's on board with that. Certainly Representative Rice up in Gardner, Representative Goby, Representative-elect Benson. The entire delegation will start to prepare our documentation and start doing our due diligence and research into everything that happened in this crisis. So, again, I can assure the viewing public and the listening public, if there is any here, and the print media, that we will be venturing into this, and it's going to be lengthy, but you'll, as the public, will also be involved as well. But that process is beginning slowly right now, and it certainly will pick up speed. So, thank you.
All right, and Vice President George Gantz is here to talk about the power restoration efforts.
Thank you. Good afternoon. We have had full crew deployments out today in all of the communities. We do not yet have reports back from some of the crews. They're doing their job. They're moving on to the next job. We know there are a couple of sections of primary that are still being worked on in the city of Fitchburg. We know there have been a lot of sweeps and a lot of individual accounts picked up, and secondaries picked up, and neighborhoods picked up. And I do want to thank Representative Di Natale for being a point person and helping to identify some spots. He made sure we knew of some spots that we didn't know about. That's been very helpful. We've had dedicated, I think it was 4 crews or so today, to those assignments that came up that he helped us identify, and that's been very helpful through the course of the day. We believe we have enough crews deployed in the city of Fitchburg to be able to complete all the known problems and known services tonight. We haven't run into anything today yet that has put us off of that target. So I think that's good news for all of us. I think today we may also have set a record for the number of utility crews working in an urban environment, a city environment, on a storm restoration process. We are exceedingly grateful for the resources that we've been able to assemble in order to complete this job, and really can't thank those folks enough who had a role in helping to get those resources released so that they could come to us. It's been a help. It's been a long haul, but through the course of the evening and tonight, we're looking at being substantially complete. There are going to be a few items that may come up, potentially new outages. We know there are circuits that may be up, but an item may come up. There might be a failure. There might be a transformer failure. Those spotty things that come up, we will maintain crews in Fitchburg on a full-time status through Christmas, so that if there is any of those problems that come up during the course of the next couple of days, we will have crews on them immediately to resolve those problems. So that's the status as of today. I know some of you are interested also in the outlying communities. Townsend, we need to finalize reports from the field from the crews, but we think we've solved every known problem in Townsend. We think we are probably there or close to there in Lunenburg at this point. And we expect, as I said, to be there later tonight. We have all the crews deployed in the city of Fitchburg to get there. In Ashby, there's been a tremendous effort on the one section of primary that was destroyed. We actually have more crews on that. We have more crews on that primary line today than there are customers served off the line. It's an extraordinary effort to complete those repairs. We haven't gotten the detailed reports yet back from the field, but we're hopeful to be able to complete that work and to be in the same position with the city of Ashby, essentially complete by the end of the night. But as I said, we will have crews on hand for any additional issues that come up during the course of the day tomorrow, and then also on Christmas. So we will be ready to answer any call that comes in for any reason. This has been an extraordinary and very, very difficult experience for all of the employees of Unitil, for the management of Unitil, for the crews that have been brought in to work, some from as far away as Tennessee and Michigan. Some of those crews will not be back in time to celebrate Christmas with their families. And their effort on the behalf of the public here in Fitchburg is deeply appreciated. I did want to make a comment about a couple of comments about the city of Fitchburg. One is As I've attended the emergency operation meetings that have been chaired by Mayor Wong and included her full team as well as the elected representatives, I have been very impressed with the discipline, the dedication, the commitment, and the ability to keep a very challenged city operating well, operating on target, and pulling together in a very extraordinary way. And I think the mayor and her team and those that participated in that effort deserve just. I mean, I can't say enough about the excellence of their work and the dedication to the city that they have showed. I also simply would like to say that, I think the city of Fitchburg is an extraordinary small city. It's one of the best small cities in the U.S., and that's because of the character of the people here. And I agree with the mayor. I think the people of this city have really shown their character in this crisis and have pulled together. It's been very difficult for all of us. I'm just very glad that we're now able to finish it up. Thank you.
Are there any questions at this time?
I'd like to ask, you set a record for utility crews, but how many is that?
We had 320 crews deployed system-wide today in the 4 towns. Those crews have been moving all over. I honestly couldn't tell you where all the crews are at a given point or how many are in the city. I just know that one of the unusual things I think about this event, the damage that occurred in the city of Fitchburg, the extent of time those services were out, this is not the kind of thing that most urban environments are used to dealing with. So it was an extraordinary challenge for the city. I think the city really pulled through and did a terrific job in a very difficult circumstance.
I know you don't have all the data from the crews, but do you have a rough idea how many people right now still don't have power?
I can tell you that the report that is available to us right now has a number of about 500 in the city of Fitchburg, but I know that's stale. The crews don't report in after they energize each section. As the mayor said, one of those sections was energized, before we came into this meeting. I know that's not in that data. We saw yesterday, essentially with the same complement of crews system-wide, we saw the numbers drop system-wide from 2,500 down to 1,100. So as of this morning, we had 1,100 system-wide. We had 787 in the city of Fitchburg. Our expectation is with the crews we have, the work that needs to be done, that will be driven down to 0 tonight.
If I could just ask you one more thing about the crews. You said a lot about how much work they've been putting in. Some of them are not going to get home to where they're from for Christmas. How tough has it been on them, and what about some of the reports of angry residents that they've had to deal with?
Yeah, there were a few incidents. Yeah, okay, sure. There were a few incidents. In trying times and difficult times, that's going to happen. But I think the response from the police, from the officials in the community has been excellent. Message control was excellent. I think those isolated incidents have been minor. They did not impede the work of the crews. We didn't ever have a crew, have to be pulled out for any incident, and that's an extraordinary because this was a really, really challenging event. I just can't say enough about the physical challenge and work of working for effectively 12 days straight on a 16 hours on, 8 hour off schedule, doing the work that these guys have to do, and the dedication that goes into that. I mean. The electrical workers are an extraordinary breed to be able to do that, and the commitment to getting the job done is really extraordinary. These guys are really committed to that, even though some of the public, might not seem to be very welcoming. They do their job, and that's what they're here to do. So it's a esprit de corps. It's a sense of teamwork that comes with it, the challenge of the job. It's just an extraordinary group of people that have really done a great job. So I can't really say enough about it. They're great folks. They've done an excellent job, and they were desperately welcomed in this situation.
Mr. Gantz, it sounds like there's going to be some multifaceted investigations and hearings after this is all complete. How do you and Unitil feel about that?
We welcome it. Anytime you go through an event this big, a disaster of this size, you have to evaluate, you have to assess, you have to debrief, you have to understand what the facts were, how people responded to those facts, what went wrong, what went right, what lessons can be learned. These are all important, an important process that we certainly need to go through, all of us need to go through together to make sure that if there are things that can be done differently in a situation in the future, that everybody is educated and that those right choices are made in the future.
Can you say at this point if you guys could have done anything better at this point?
Yeah, there are things we could have done better.
Like what?
We will find out as we go through that evaluation. I've said all along in the last few days when that question has come up that our sole commitment has been to getting the job done and getting all the customers back. We can't tell you how much this has cost. We can't tell you, any of those issues about what that evaluation and post-event study is going to yield. It's way too soon. We're way too close to it, but we all recognize the need and admit the need to go through that kind of a process.
But no idea the cost at this point.
No.
Significant, though.
Significant.
The 500 or so that remain without power in Fitchburg, are those folks that have individual connection problems? Are you guys still
No,
working on some
I actually think
primary?
that number is, I don't think that number is a reliable number. I think the real number is less than that. I think we have a couple of circuits that, as of an hour ago, were still being worked on. So we know there's some pockets that are still out. We know we have crews sweeping all over the city, working with the individual services and some secondary issues, and they're just the dispatch orders are going out with we're going down the list of things to send them to work on. So that's a good sign. The calls have stopped. The influx of new information and identification of things that we might not have known about has just stopped. We think we've got it all identified. We've got the crews deployed, and again, the only area that just concerns me is those areas where it's primary circuit that requires heavy construction type work. We've got the crews; they're deployed. Just have to make sure, nothing goes wrong or we don't find something that was wrong. The other thing I'll mention, it was an area of concern yesterday. When we had the press conference yesterday, we still had a major section of the city that was out because of the transmission line outage. Both of those transmission lines have been fixed and have been placed into service. Our system is now back in its ordinary configuration. Those lines are operating, the backup and the redundancy is there. So that's a much improved situation overall from where we were yesterday. I had not thought about the crews that I wanted to say, and I can't remember what it was. Sorry.
For Mayor Wong, it sounds like there are going to be some investigations after this. I was wondering how you feel about that, and also if you had any thoughts about what these investigations should include and what they should focus on.
Mm-hmm. Well, I certainly I welcome the investigations as well, as my two fellow speakers here have said. After an event like this, there absolutely are so many questions that need to be answered. And I think it needs to be done not at the expense of those who are still without power. And that's why our message has been power restoration, power restoration. What more can we do? Not what could we have done differently in the past few days, but how can we make things different? How can we bring more resources so that we can get people back into power restoration? I've been in constant communication with our state representative, Steve DiNatale, and our state Senator Jen Flanagan. And they have helped bring many people to the table, including the Department of Public Utilities, including people that we needed to actually get the job done, such as the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security, the Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency, the Governor, Lieutenant Governor's offices as well. That was really my primary focus. Early on, we had discussed that things would need to be investigated, and they've been doing a lot of that legwork. As to what specifically, I would say everything. There are questions that I have, there's questions that residents have, there's questions that public agencies will have, and I don't have all the questions embodied in myself. That's why it's an important component to be able to have public hearings and public input. And as a number of towns and cities would like to be included in these efforts. There's a lot of residents who were involved and affected. I know that I'm getting stories on a daily basis, and we want to hear those stories. So we want to make sure there's opportunity for people to be heard.
Any idea on the cost of the cleanup from the city's perspective at this point?
That is going to take some time to compile because we've received word that debris removal up to 18 months after this incident could be included. There's pretty extensive damage to the system, to the city's infrastructure as well, and it's going to take some time because we've been focusing primarily on the protection of life. Debris removal has been secondary. We have had a lot of questions about what people can do with their debris. Thus far, with the snowstorms that we've had, we've asked people to just keep that debris off the roadway so that we can plow safely. We know that a lot of that debris is under snow. As that snow melts, as we can get the debris out, we will be removing them, and we'll be getting information out to the public as to different ways that they can self-remove or that we will come around and remove ourselves.
Sure. And you mentioned the National Guard left today, and the shelter's going to be closing after tonight? Is that
Correct.
right?
Correct.
Any idea how many people were at the shelter last night, or how many expect to be there tonight?
Last night there was 40, and I don't have estimates for tonight. I know that all the people that are there tonight have been placed in alternative settings, whether it's with family and friends or whether it's other long-term alternative care. And some of that may be able to happen tonight, and some will have to wait till tomorrow.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
I remembered what I wanted to say about the crews. We've had an army of workers in this state and up in New Hampshire, and we've had an army of people that have been affected by this outage, and I have not gotten any reports of any any injuries from the crews or any of that stuff, and I just think that's an extraordinary result to be able to go through this logistical implementation and get this number of people out there, and and the fact that they can do this hard work in the conditions they did and they can do it safely is again another remarkable measure of their expertise and dedication.
I have a question for Mr. Gantz. Mr. Gantz, my name is Joe Solomito, and I represent Ward 5 here in Fitchburg. That area extends from Fitchburg northerly through the State College into Ashby and then touching into Lunenburg. I've come to these meetings every day, 2 and 3 times a day, and I've reiterated that there are portions of Ward 5, Marshall Road, Fisher Road, Pearl Hill Road, and High Rock Road have been without power. Every day, twice a day, I've urged them to help. And every day I'm told, probably tomorrow night, by tomorrow night. As of 5 minutes ago, I checked that those same areas have not been touched. I'm not doubting your diligence, but these people are afraid, they're dark, they're cold, and it's 12 days without it. My sons tell me one thing: don't make a promise you can't keep. And I'm at that stage now when I talk to these people, I don't want to tell them tomorrow's going to come, because I don't believe it, and I don't expect them to believe it. And I just want to know, what we were told 5 minutes ago, that likely this will be ending short of the individual home pockets by the end of today. Is that still realistic for these people?
Well, as I said, they're working on sections of primary. That's one of the areas where they're working on it. We have the crews deployed. We know what work needs to be done. We have the time for those crews to work on that. Barring something that we don't know or something that happens that's not expected. These are difficult work situations. So what I can tell you is I can get you now a specific report on the status of that area, and I'll be happy to do that after the conference. I'll call over and I can get a specific status report.
That'd be great. Thank you.
All right, well, let's conclude by wishing everybody a happy holidays. Tomorrow is Christmas Eve, the day after that is Christmas, and I know that Representative Zinatelli and myself just want to wish the residents of Fitchburg a very happy holiday.
If there's a way to make this a Merry Christmas, please do. And know that your demands are going to be heard, are being heard. People keep asking me about what we're doing in terms of investigative approach, and that will happen at the state level. And we welcome it and take comfort in knowing that hopefully we'll make this a merrier Christmas than it looks right now. So, Merry Christmas, folks.
Merry Christmas.